Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is Refuge from Narcissism, and this refugee video is sponsored by contribution from Faith. And here's her story. Hi, Ollie. In my last video request to you, I talked about my past BPD tendencies and behaviors. Through my healing process and honest self-reflection, I realized there were things in entertainment that fed into my sick way of thinking. It came to me one day at work when over the intercom, Madonna's song Borderline caught my attention and I paid attention to the lyrics. Don't you know you drive me crazy? You just keep pushing my love over the borderline. Borderline. Remember the song. And this has been one of my points on the channel. How media, entertainment, music has been poisoning society for the better part of 60 years now. You know, I hate to say it, and I said it before, but every day those right-wing Christians are proven right. They just are. And look, I like modern music. I like all types of music. I get it. There's a hypocrisy, but I could say I like it and still know it's pretty toxic to society at the same time. And the music today has just gotten so much worse. In addition to that, I thought about songs, movies, even things on TV that help me justify my behavior. I would like to hear your take and thoughts on how entertainment affects society and narcissism. You know, it's funny because one of the few things that, I didn't understand about my mother when I was a kid, and, I didn't get it and it would annoy me, but she was right. She was right. Was what would drive her fucking crazy. What would drive my mother insane was the sassy, smart mouth kid in commercials. Always in commercials and in TV. And my mother's like, you don't act like that. You don't talk like that. And I didn't understand. Like, well, then why is this on TV? Like, what? Like, what is this? What is this? But she's right. Because today, that shit drives me insane as well. Okay? You watch commercials, okay, every kid is smarter than their parents. They're all smart asses. And it's not a new phenomenon. It's not. That's just been going on since the 80s at least, the 70s, 80s at least, as long as I've been around. The difference is now they've taken it to the extreme where not only is the kid smarter, okay, the hierarchies in the commercial where obviously the white male is always the idiot, always the moron, always the embarrassment, always the problem. Okay? And their kids disrespect them. Every other race disrespects them. They're always, every race is smarter than the white guy, the white woman. There's a hierarchy. White man, white women, okay, black male, okay, Hispanic male, Hispanic female, black female. There's a hierarchy, okay, of who's the clown. You might disagree who fits where on that ladder, but the ladder exists. Okay, the one thing that's indisputable, the white male is always down here, and the white guy is always the moron. And if there's a kid, the kid is the smartest person in the commercial every time. Drove my mother, she would flip her shit, and she was right. She was right about it. She just was. You don't see it as a kid. All you see is some smart mouth kid, okay, mouthing off. As for me, I used to love me some hurting tunes, songs from Adele, Mariah Carey, or country songs of the 90s, i.e. Adele's Someone Like You, or pretty much anything by her, or Mariah's Always Be My Baby, or Butterfly. The problem with like somebody like Mariah is her personal behavior overrode her music. Okay, because now she's just known as this crazy lunatic. Okay, bouncing off guys. She's been with what's his name, Nick Cannon. Now I think she's still with him, but she's a lunatic. She's unstable. Adele catches shit now because she lost weight, and now she's fat shaming people. Songs that helped me feel forever the victim were the sad soundtracks of my existence back then. I wish I could go back in time and tell my younger self not to throw pity parties for myself and those sad songs, and instead feed my mind with positive, motivating messages. Yeah, but you're a kid. And that's why it works, and that's why it's so destructive, because they're pumping this into the kids' minds. And again, like back when rock and roll first broke back in the 50s and all that whole push where they were saying, that rock and roll was evil, it was the devil's music, it was demonic, it was meant to destroy society. As good as a lot of music is and has been, it's hard to argue that based on what you're see today. It's very hard to argue that fact. This was Senator Joe McCarthy's point about communism and Marxism infiltrating the government, music, entertainment, Hollywood. This was the whole point. That's why I said they had us at McCarthy. It's the slow poisoning of your society through narcissism, through sociopathy, through communism. You wonder why the boomers are so fucked up as the way they are. This is why. They were the generation fed this shit. They were the generation that bought in and went with it. They were the ones protesting and first rioting and listen, there were a lot of things to protest for back in the 60s, whether equal rights and segregation and all that. Okay, it was also the same generation that called Vietnam veterans baby killers, threw piss and shit on them, spit on them in airports, ignored the war. I wouldn't even acknowledge it until I think they finally acknowledged the Vietnam veterans with a ticker tape parade in New York in the 80s. I think it was the late 80s. Mid 80s, late 80s. Poison that generation. And then they start having kids, and most of us who have been raised by them, here we are. Great example of that as far as the boomer is, and I've talked about that movie, The Big Chill. Because not only did the boomers listen to this music and absorb this music, it is their freaking gospel. It is their gospel. And if you want to see what I mean, okay, watch the movie The Big Chill. And all that movie is a fucking baby boomer circle jerk. A baby boomer circle jerk to justify all their debaucherous behavior. I mean, they're dancing around with album covers and kissing them like this was ordained from God. They were at the funeral of one of their friends. They were all friends. One of their friends, who after Kevin Costner committed suicide. Okay, now they're there after his funeral, hanging out at Glenn Close's house. And the end of the movie, one friend wants to have a baby, so Glenn Close allows her husband, I think it was Kevin Kline, okay, to bang her friend to give her a baby. And like these boomer women, oh, it's beautiful. What the fuck? What the fuck? I mean, you see your parents as a kid, you see your parents and your mother reacting to this like that. Like, it's no wonder, okay, Faith, that you're buying into your own music and your own lyrics, and you're basing your victimhood on that. Look at the generation that raised you. I have to get more vape juice. Hold on. I wish I could go back in time and tell my younger self not to throw pity parties for myself to those sad songs and instead feed my mind with positive and motivating messages. Eventually, I learned to do that, but if I had to do it all over again, I would tell the Adele and the girls to take a hike. I would have turned out the sad crooning I would have tuned out the sad crooning 90s country songs too. Friggin' dysfunctional songs from Garth Brooks, Thunder Rolls, and the Dixie Chicks, Earl Had to Die, that romanticized domestic violence. I mean, and I know country's huge and it's supposedly, conservative and right wing. And if you think country music, okay, is any different than any other type of music, look at Billy Ray Cyrus and his daughter. Steep price to pay for achy breaky heart, sacrificing your daughter like that. Steep price to pay for a real shitty song. Then there are ever empowering women's songs that feed the ego. Mm-hmm. Oh, the I'm Every Woman genre. Oh, those are my favorite. Oh God, those are the worst, and they're the worst. The ones who are on the I'm Every Woman fucking kick women are because they're just looking. They're just looking, and that's another soothing. That's another soothing tactic. They don't actually believe it. They don't. They don't. Just emulating what they hear and see. Because they think that's what human contact is. And that's what being raised on TV will get you. That's what not spending time and family time and real quality time gets you when you're raised by TVs. Then there are the ever empowering women's songs that feed the ego. Ugh, where to start? Songs from Beyonce, Destiny's Child, like To the Left, Bills, Survivor, or TLC Scrubs. If I could go back in time, I would tell younger me what Cat Women said best is something to consider when he talked how women complain and bitch ass men instead of asking themselves what about them is attracting bitch ass men. That's the cleaned up version of what he said, but it's the gist of what he said. There's a meme below from one of his shows. I think it was from the Pimp Chronicles show. There may be something wrong with your pussy that keeps... Okay, there may be something wrong with your pussy that keeps attracting bitch ass N-words. I won't say the word. Exactly. You are what you attract. There's a reason why you're bringing in... For the same reason we bring in people that abuse us, toxic people, okay? It's no different for them. There's a reason why. Because only a bitch-ass man is going to put up with that bullshit. I'm every woman, okay? Well, you could go be I am every woman down the road. Only a bitch-ass man is going to put up with that in the first place. And it wasn't just music. I fed my soul with junk food with. It was also the damned rom-coms. That was my ex-wife. Oh boy, did she love a fucking rom-com or these or not even a Gilmore Girl. I don't Gilmore Girls. I don't even know what you would call that, but that's what she wanted her life to be, like this Gilmore Girls fantasy. She thought she had a connection because that was her mother's maiden name. Like, oh, the absurdity. The absurdity. Ugh, movies that featured Renelle Zellweger's famous line, "You complete me," in Jerry Maguire, to other movies like Gone with the Wind, as many as Julia Roberts films where the female lead is love obsessed. And the problem with rom-coms and the Lifetime channel and and Hallmark to a certain extent is those movies are just as they're just as unrealistic as porn is. All that really is female porn. It's just as unrealistic as a guy watching porn and getting all these fucked up sexual things in their head of what they. It's the same thing because it's not how relationships are. And then women watch these fucking rom-coms and Lifetime movies of the week, and they have the same. It's just the other side of the coin. They're equally as delusional. They're equally as delusional. And they're equally as damaging to relationships. Because they're not based in reality, either one of them. Anyway, just my experience and truth. I hope not to offend anyone, as I do understand music and film have a rightful place in the realm of art, but sometimes, in my opinion, certain pieces can just be pieces of crap, and the masses, to feed the masses so they keep focusing on themselves, what they don't have, all the while encouraging them to continue searching for the proverbial carrot on the stick. Keep them searching for love in all the wrong places, in all the wrong ways, by using pity, crying, begging, pleading, and manipulating. Well, you know the playbook, and thanks to you. You know the playbook, and thanks to you, so do we. Peace to you and Charlene. Thanks for all you do, and I'm glad you're back for the season. Faith. Well, thank you, Faith. And you're right. I mean, you're right about all of this, and this has been, my new focus of the channel, showing, okay, because again, the question was always, why were we treated like this? Why are our parents like this? Why are boomers like this? Why is whoever like this? This is why. This is why. And you could go beyond rom-coms. You could go, whether it's the violence, the sex, all of it is meant to degrade society, you start degrading young children at a very, very, very early age. All of it. Told you the communists had us at McCarthy. They had us at McCarthy. What Miley Cyrus has become is an awfully high price to pay for Achy Breaky Heart. Because here's the thing. I mean, because here's what closes this. All of these artists, okay, have had major personal issues. Drugs, relationships, theft, I mean, you name it. They're all a goddamn train wreck. And the media will show you that. Kind of put it out there. We'll put it out there without making any real judgment, even though they're doing it because it's fucked up. Okay, and then a week later, hype their latest album. Oh, well, I guess it's all right because, they're still selling records, the media's still promoting them. That's how it works. So, I hope that helps. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Thank you. Sorry. You'll know why I'm a little off by my next video. So, but thank you for the contribution, Faith, and the email. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, something you'd like me to expose, you'd like to set up a Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all of this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the Zelle and PayPal and email links in the description box below. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been Refuge from Narcissism. Take care.